Good evening and welcome along to TGP2 here at the Italian Grand Prix in Monza, season 26, rounds 15 and 16 for the season, where Alistair Bain is the man in form, the championship leader. But we have an exciting qualifying session so far, numerous changes up the top of the leaderboard with 3 minutes of the session to go. We have a number of cars that are just finishing their penultimate runs, as Jack, you see Alistair and Owen in the pits already. So we'll have a quick rundown. We have Owen on pole ahead of Alistair, who's 2 tenths behind. Jack Pearson, who was briefly top, is currently down in P3 ahead of Camo Babbo. And the early pace setter, Dom Smith, taking advantage of the tow. Mercedes applying it very well to have an early pole position, but he's now dropped down to 5th. He's sandwiched between the two McLarens, with Blair Grills in 6th and Mike New down in 7th. But the big news at the moment is Jordan, championship contender in the AlphaTauri, who is currently only P8. He made a mess of his second run on the soft tyres and managed to abandon his lap where he was on the pace. And Jordan now is fastest in sector 1, 4 tenths clear. And I will hand you over to my co-commentator tonight, birthday boy and yesterday's TGP1 race winner in Belgium, Dan the Man.
Thank you very much, Sean. Yeah. So Camo Babbo, he was 2 tenths up on his lap, and he's just immediately invalidated, doesn't mention his name, at the Ascari chicane. And that looked like a really quick lap for Camo Babbo, and he needs a quick lap. He needs to get up there, preferably on the front row, you would imagine. At the minute, we've got Jordan and Camo Babbo, who are just 1 point separating those guys in the championship. Alistair's got a huge lead. 24-point lead, the biggest lead I'm pretty sure that anyone's had so far this season. He is in second here though, Owen on pole, and there's an amazing stat which you mentioned last week about Owen still yet to actually start a race on the front row this season. That could be about to change, John, with this final minute.
Yeah, definitely.
But he's totally blown this final lap of his, because he's just totally outbraked himself into turn 1. I would be amazed if he improves from that position, if he improves his time.
Yeah, absolutely. He looks like he's gone way too deep into the last part of the first chicane, and that will definitely cost him. He might just get round to the finish line in time if he is quick enough. Meanwhile, we've got the Ferraris employing the slipstream strategy. We've got Mike Noon in 9th and Joe in 7th. I think it was more a case of Joe being towed by Mike, because Mike's just started his lap now. Joe did not improve from P7, but here we are then. Very well executed tow there.
And we've got the Mercedes, who are also getting ready to do the tow here. Jack Pearson and Dom Smith as they start these final runs. Alistair, look at Alistair's just ahead of them. Well, Alistair might get a bit of a tow from the Ferraris, and then the Mercedes Jack will get a tow from Alistair possibly. We expected this to happen. This is what we're seeing. We're seeing the Alphas are also doing it quite well. They're a bit further round, and they're doing the exact same thing. Yeah,
but a lot of teams employing the tow strategy here as Jack invalidates his lap and runs off.
And Owen and Jordan have both abandoned their final lap time, so Jordan also must have made an error. Jack's invalidated, so we've got Alistair. A Ferrari just getting out the way there of Alistair. So Alistair is pretty much the only significant title contender who can actually finish the final lap here.
And Alistair has just gone purple in sector 2. He's 2 tenths up, so he's going to be right on the back of Owen as it stands. He needs to find a little bit of time here in the last sector on his own personal best. He might just take pole position as he comes around to the Parabolica now. Nice little bit of turning, runs a little bit deep in the corner, right up against the limits of the track as he comes towards the line. And he just misses out.
He's not done it.
54 thousandths off, but he gets onto the front row. He jumps his closest title contender, Jordan, by 1.5. We'll have a look at Jack, who's obviously abandoned his lap, and Dom's abandoned.
Yeah, everybody else is either abandoned or just not gone for another lap. Dom also looked really quick, and then he also invalidated the Scottish Games. I have a feeling he'll be pretty disappointed with that, because he was getting a tow from Jack Pearson as well. But Owen then, on pole, first time he starts on the front row this season, he will be delighted. And well, he's 187 points in the championship, So he needs some crazy races and to dominate over the next couple of weeks to claw back his way to Alistair. And, well, this is a good way to start, I suppose.
Yep, absolutely. We'll just have a quick rundown of the championship order before we begin the first race tonight. I think Sir Tom Penguin just finished the lap. Let's see if he goes anywhere. He does improve, but he doesn't gain position. But the Alfa Romeos doing a solid job there, 10th and 11th. They're looking for some strong points tonight, and the Constructors currently at the very bottom of that. But that looks like all the main contenders have done for the session. The qualifying is pretty much over, so we'll have a quick rundown of the standings. Alistair, being the man in form, is currently championship leader on 234 points. We have Jordan second, 24 points further back. He's only a point ahead of Camo Baba in the McLaren in third. Owen, as Dan said, is on 187 points, but it's only within 2 race wins of Alistair, so the top 4 within 50 points, so one bad race, it can all close right up. You have Jack in 5th in the lead Mercedes. He's fallen fairly adrift in recent weeks, with Mike in 6th. 7th place is Smokey, who's not here tonight. He's just ahead of Bazza in 8th. Then you've got Mr. John in 9th, and Dom rounding out the top 10 for the Mercedes team. Dom P6 in qualifying. He'll be hoping to get up the field. He did say that he felt nervous about tonight's races. He might have a feeling that he's on for a good performance as we get the roundup now of the qualifying session. Owen on pole then, just half a tenth ahead of Alistair. Jordan in P3 for AlphaTauri, ahead of the Mercedes of Jack Pearson, Camo Baba in P5. Then there's a bit of a gap to Dom Smith in 6th, Joe Sayer P7, Blair Grills in 8th, ahead of Mike Noon in 9th. Matt Shepherd, Doormat as some of the older TGP guys know him, rounds off the top 10 ahead of Sir Tom Penguin. Neil Jack, a disappointing 12 for him, ahead of Mr. John. Bazza very low down in 14th, but on the medium tyres. Then you've got Red Bull Kim 15th, Angel versus Death in 16th, and Indecisive Mackie rounding the field off just half a tenth behind his teammate in P17. So then, Dan, who do you feel will be the favourite for this Grand Prix?
Well, just very quickly, I'm pretty sure Bazza must have invalidated his laps, his further laps, because he was definitely out on soft tyres later on in the session, and obviously I'm just assuming he will have invalidated his other laps, which is why he's on those medium tyres. But at least he has total free tyre choice, as it is a dry race. And I have to say, well, I'm expecting Owen to do quite well here. He is on pole, first time front row this season, and he looked on the pace from the very start of the session. He didn't need any sort of tow or anything like that to achieve that pole. Well, apart from that slight error he made in the final run, could have gone even quicker.
Yeah, definitely. It looked, and on all of Owen's runs, it did look as though he didn't have any tow at all compared to what the rival teams were strategizing. You could see the Ferraris and the Mercedes were all trying to slipstream each other down the straights to get the advantage. Did work early on for Mercedes. Dom was 4 tenths quicker than Jack in the tow, but obviously throughout the session all sort of balanced back out as we are about to get underway for the Italian Grand Prix. Then we have 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and we're away at the start of the Italian Grand Prix. It looks like a good start from Owen, but he's got very squirrely on the power, and that's going to allow a lot of cars coming through there. And Jordan's making the move already into turn 1. It's very close. It looks like Jordan's just got to get out of there in the lead, but Alistair's got a good run on the exit of the first chicane, and he will take the lead down towards through the Grande Curve. Jack up to P3 as well.
I could put the commentator's curse on Owen, because had a terrible start, and Joe Sayers alongside him now to also try and get into 4th, but he can't, so Owen keeps 4th for the time being. But wow, he just got a huge amount of wheel spin, didn't he, and just didn't move for a few minutes, or a few seconds even.
Yeah, it was
but it felt like minutes.
Oh, very near between Sayers Sports and Camo Baba. Joe's had a very good start there. Camo Baba's dropped down a couple of places already. Yeah, very similar to Kevin Magnussen in Australia 2014, where he got off the line well and then had the mother of all wheel spins as he almost spilled into the wall.
Sorry, John, we had Breezer off at the back. He went off at the first Lesmo, and it was very tight in midfield there, going through a Scotty. Virtual safety car.
Yeah, virtual safety car is deployed then as Breezer retired from the race.
That will be because of the incident with Bazza. But I wonder if anyone will take this opportunity to pit. It's not a full safety car, but the tyres is quite easy tyre management around here.
Jack doing a dummy there, trying to catch a few guys out behind, but it looks like most of the field are staying out for now.
Staying out.
I think we've got the taker at the back, but that's a Williams who's got himself a penalty, so that takes away all hopes of an advantage there.
I don't know what you think about that, John. I'm just a bit surprised by that, because you could have got a free pit stop there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And medium tyres will easily go the rest of the race. I have to say I'm a little bit surprised that nobody decided to pit there. I think it could have worked really well.
Yeah, I thought Jack was going for it for a moment, and then at the very last minute he just decided against it as the green flags are now back out. Virtual safety car has ended. We've got it looks like we've lost our interval gaps a little bit there, but we're on board with Dom Smith then, down in P7. It looks like he's got a gap to Mike behind. He's on the back of the lead train. He's got Camo Babo ahead, and ahead of him Sayer Sports. Owen in P4 will be looking to make up those positions he lost. As Dan said, it was his first front row start of the season, but again he finds himself behind his title rivals, and also behind the Mercedes of Jack, who is currently P3. You can see on the board we have the list of positions gained on the first few laps. Good start for Joe, gained a couple places, as well as Mr. John. Awful start for Owen, as DRS is now enabled, and we've got a yellow flag in sector 3.
It's Mike Noon. Mike Noon's lost it at the Parabolica. He
as
is
he
off
recovers
the
now.
I don't think it's going to trigger any sort of safety car. He's going to get underway again, but that's be gutted about that.
Yep.
And meanwhile, his teammate Sayer Sports is having to defend from Camo Babo. Camo Babo is not in a great position. He's in 6th place. He knows he needs to better that big time, especially with Alistair leading. And I think he might have a run into Curva Grande here, as it looks like the Alphas have spun as well.
Yeah, it looks like we had the two Alphas come together. I think they might have had it coming together. But
it's another virtual safety car.
Indeed it is. So now that might just be a blessing in disguise for Mike. I don't know. It might be a bit too late for him, but it looked like the two Alfa Romeos might have come together at the back, or they've had separate incidents at the first chicane. Alistair was making a good gap to the rest of the field when that came out. He was nearly 2 seconds ahead of Jordan already, but that will still be the case. Obviously a virtual safety car doesn't back the field up like it would a real safety car. Everyone's at a uniform speed, keeping to deltas. A few guys have been caught up by it before. We've seen it, a couple of guys lose race wins just by getting it slightly wrong as the VSC ended, but it's a little low in proceedings. It'd be a chance for everyone to regain some over to ERS deployment, save a little bit of fuel as we wait for the safety car. Does anyone come in this time? No, because the
underway.
Green flags are back already. DRS is obviously enabled this time, and you know what, Jordan I think made up a bit of a gap, made up some time there at the end of the VSC.
We've got Dom Smith getting very close to Camo Babo as well for 6th place. But of course, because the rule that co-masters have, where in a 25% race you only will have a maximum of 2 safety car or virtual safety car, so that's it now. If there's another instance, there will not be any sort of safety car virtual safety car, so that they're already out of the way. I have to say I'm a bit surprised we haven't got a full safety car at any point in this race. Look at that, both of the Alphas having to pit. They obviously must have come together at the first chicane. And well, what an absolutely they had such a good qualifying as well. They were executing the toe perfectly in qualifying, weren't they? So it was great teamwork in qualifying, not in the race though.
Yeah, absolutely. They were 10th, 11th on the grid. It was a good showing for the Alfa Romeo team, but it's all fallen away at the start of the Grand Prix, and they'll be hard pressed to get any points from here on out. Meanwhile, Blair Grills just picks up a time penalty, and interestingly, it looks like Jack's been caught a little bit by Owen, but at the same time, Jordan is catching the back of Alistair. So we've got battles for the lead, battles for 3rd. It's one to definitely watch.
Yeah, this is going to be the first lap, really, where they can properly use DRS. And there we go, and Jordan's going to immediately go for the lead. Look at the run he's got on Alistair. Alistair's having to defend. They're going to be side by side, the top 2 in the championship. Jordan's trying to go through and they'll leave the inside. They briefly touch. Oh.
The case of
close one.
Yep, look like they're both banned wheels there, but the status quo has remained. Alistair stays ahead of Jordan, of course.
Owen got into third. Owen did pass Jack for third.
Yep, unfortunately we missed that as the two leaders will go into battle together. Owen crucially making that position on Jack and looking very racy early on in this Grand Prix. Looks like he could very quickly get to the back of Jordan as well, so Owen definitely having good pace here up Monza. There's the top four then, just breaking away a little bit from the three cars behind. Of course, pit stops will be coming up fairly soon. Obviously, the VSCs early on might just help the tyre life a little bit, so some of these guys might pit a little bit later. They might be going for the next lap or two, rather than, say, lap 5 or 6, they could go to lap 6 or 7.
Alistair's had a terrible exit from the Scottish chicane, sorry John, and well, look at this. He's already right there, Jordan. There's no point going for a move into Parabolica, obviously, because you might as well preserve things and get ready to deploy the DRS. Oh, I thought Jordan was going to pit there.
We do have a pitter, that's Jack. But here we are then, Jordan with the DRS and the ERS goes alongside Alistair, takes the lead from Alistair. Nicely done, nice and easy, into the first corner, in the lead. And that's crucial for his championship hopes. Owen very sideways just on the exit there. He looked like he was drifting on the exit of Parabolica as well. But he's kept it all together and he's still just there in P3. We've had a couple of stops there. Joe Sir also pitting in the Ferrari. Jack as well in the Mercedes that Dan had previously mentioned. Both cars will be in clear air, as you can see on the map indicator. So important lap for these two. You want to probably stick it on the full fuel, get some ERS overtake deployed and just make up some gap, warm the tyres up and see if you can close that gap between yourself and the cars you were battling with as you came into the pits. Meanwhile, DRS on the back straight lane, no real overtakes this time. Alistair getting to the back of Jordan though. These two will be the ones to watch. Will they react to Jack's pit stop? We'll see.
They might have to. I think one of them will. I wonder if Alistair might do the sort of opposite to Jordan here.
Yeah, but it's possible. It's pretty tricky on this game to jump anyone in the pit stops unless you're under a safety car where everyone's in. But looks
Jordan's
like
coming in, and
Alistair plays the dummy. So does Owen. Camo Babo has entered the pits and got a speeding penalty, so that's not good for him. And Dom as well. That's a disaster for both of those.
But it's Camo Babo in its championship fight, and this is just disastrous race he is having here at Monza.
Yeah, it's not really worked out well for him at all. Obviously, when you get the 5-second penalty for speeding as you enter the pits, the game doesn't serve it. So, obviously, that means that the seconds will be added to their race time unless they decide to pit again for whatever reason. I can tell you, Jack has come out behind Camo Babo, and as well as that, Jordan's ahead of Camo Babo, but only by a second or so. And there is a bit of a gap between Jordan and the first of the non-pitters. Meanwhile, Owen closing to the back of Alistair here. We've also got Blair Grills and Mr. John. Blair Grills having a little bit of a train in the fight, what's currently for the last podium spot, but these guys have yet to pit.
Well, we're surely going to see Alistair and Owen both in this lap. I don't think they can afford to go another lap with Jordan on the fresh mediums now. Camo Babo's on the hard tyres, by the way, which is a very strange decision.
Blair Grills is off at the wall. Blair Grills has dropped it on the exit for Scar. He's in the wall. He's out of the Grand Prix. And we caught that on board with Mr. John. Very easy to do that there. The car gets a bit light in the middle of the section.
Owen stayed out.
And set the fastest lap. He set the fastest lap as Camo Baba gets a 3-second penalty as well. We've got the gap there.
Sorry, don't forget, Owen was absolutely flying, wasn't he, in qualifying? So he presumably he must think that he can go and extend, possibly have some fresh air, set some super quick laps. He did just set the fastest lap. That must be how confident he is feeling. But
where is Jordan?
Where Alistair comes out.
They're going to be side by side down towards turn 1. I think Jordan's just going to have it. So the undercut, well, not really well, he was ahead anyway. But Alistair trying to overcut didn't quite work out, but he will still be right with the net race leader. But there's a 23-second gap between Jordan in the lead and Owen in the lead and Jordan, who's currently P4 but the net leader. Meanwhile, Dom has got ahead of Jack, so Jack has had a poor outlap. It looks as though maybe they've pitted a bit too early and the soft tyres were good for a couple more laps, as I think Dom was behind them both.
ironically, those kind of pit stops you've just seen is sort of work best for Camo Babo, who's made his way up. But of course, because he's got so many penalties, it might not have such a huge effect at the end of the race. Let's see, does Owen pit this time? He does pit this time. And Alistair and Jordan, just rounding Ascari, and Jordan and Alistair will be praying that Angel versus Death and Red Bull Kim also both to dive into the pit lane here. They really would not like to be trying to get held up with those guys. But let's see then, where's Owen going to come out? If he manages to jump both of them here, it'd be incredible.
Here we are then, Owen already on his way out of the pit. He's going to hit the pit limiter now.
Oh, and here comes Jordan and Alistair. They're going to be incredible. They're going to be literally side by side going in there. Is he going to slot in between the two? I think he will. He has jumped Alistair. That is amazing.
That is a
He's
brilliant...
out an extra lap, and it has worked brilliantly.
That has worked incredibly well for Owen then. He's going to have a straight shot up the lead, and he's already on the overtake. It's going right up to the back of Jordan here. I don't think he's going to make a move into the second chicane. I think he's just a bit too far back. Crucially, though, for Jordan, there is a slow, yet to pit Williams that's currently leading the race. That's Angel versus Death. And he's going to be giving that AlphaTauri a bit of a slipstream and a bit of DRS down the back straight towards the Ascari chicane. He's so slow on the exit as well. Jordan's going to have a run on him already. Now it's critical because Owen needs to get past this Williams, but I don't think he's going to do it into this corner. He's going to be stuck behind him. Now it's going to let Jordan escape a little bit, and he's actually had to just very close. And Alistair's on the back of Owen now as well. That was a bit... That's just a difference of speed between the front and the back of the field there, really. Not much Owen could have done.
Owen will be raging in that car right now. He will be fuming with that. Look at that, and he's already lost a second and a half. Jordan is pulling away big time now. Does he finally pit? Yes, he does, to free up Owen. And Owen, well, once again, he's going to have to show that speed he seems to have around here. There he goes, deploying DRS.
Crucially, he has it.
Right by him now to go for second place.
Crucially for Owen, obviously being behind Angel versus Death, where the DRS detection point was, it gave him DRS down the straight to defend against Alistair, so he will hold on to P2 for now, but he's got to make that gap up to Jordan. He is closing a little bit. It's 1 point through the gap. He needs to be within a second. We have lost Matt Shepherd from this race. He's had an accident up the exit of Ascari, just like Blair Grills. It is starting to get a bit overcast here. That could perhaps have a little bit of difference on tyre performance, but we don't have any threat of rain. But Owen has rapidly caught the back of that AlphaTauri.
Look at that. Wow, Owen is absolutely desperate for this race win, isn't he? He's looked so quick through the entire qualifying and, well, certainly also the race, apart from that awful start he had, of course. But I tell you what, him having that awful start hasn't half made for a cracking race, because he's had to fight for this win. And, well, he's going to have a run on Jordan next time round, surely.
He's also just set the fastest middle sector of the race. And meanwhile, Dom, down in P5, right on the back of Camo Babo for P4. He's going to sit back and take it, probably take the position on the straight. But we're going to go back to leaders here, because this is an important battle. Owen, fastest lap of the race at 1:21.749. DRS is wide open. ERS is deployed. Down to the inside on the run to turn 1. He's going to retake the lead of this Grand Prix that he lost at the beginning. Makes the move stick. Covers the exit as well against the AlphaTauri, and that is a brilliant recovery. But
it's
Jordan...
not over yet. Yeah, Jordan might come back here. In fact, and look at Owen. Owen's low on energy, and Jordan is not, but he's decided not to use his overtake here. And, well, Owen is going to have few braking points to try and recharge that before the next DRS zone, but Jordan is way up on energy at this minute. This is not over, and it's very possible that an AlphaTauri could be winning at Monza here in TGP2.
Don't rule out Alistair though. Don't rule out Alistair though. He's got a lot more energy than the both of them combined. He's within DRS of Jordan in third. He's a bit far back, but he has got the energy to close up should he need to. Meanwhile, Owen is starting to put away already. 7/10 clear of the AlphaTauri, as we have a little bit of a battle still going on between Camo Babo and Dom. Camo Babo managed to defend 4th position at the start of the lap and looks to be breaking the DRS now. This is the closest battle on track though. The 3 leaders, first, second, third, right together.
Here we go.
Nice helicopter shot here.
Owen is already pretty much out of overtake. And here comes Jordan to go for the lead. Alistair is not nowhere near them at the minute, and he's just going to stay ahead for now, Owen, with 1 lap to go and 3 DRS zones to go. Jordan could have a go into the second chicane though.
He's definitely having a look at a run here. He's got the same energy now, but Owen's a bit slow on the exit. He looks like he's defending the inside. He's got to give the cars width, but he's just far enough ahead to close the door and take the corner as he wishes. And he's so good in that second chicane as well. You can see he just has so much more confidence in the car in the corners, and just took 4 attempts just out of away from Jordan straight away.
Alistair has so much more energy to use as well, and is he going to save it all for the final lap bonanza to use all his sweeties on the final lap and try to take this win?
He's going to need to start using it quickly though, because he's starting to fall a bit too far back. And Jordan picks up a time penalty.
Wow, that is a huge moment for this championship, and it is huge for Alistair, because Alistair doesn't even really need to overtake now, and he will finish ahead of his main championship rival. It all falls into place for Alistair again.
Meanwhile, the fastest lap point has been taken by Mike Noon, but he's currently outside of the points, so he won't get that point. As we begin the final lap of the race then, Owen leads Jordan and Alistair, 1.3 separating the 3 of them. Both of them are out of energy, and Alistair's starting to close in now. Is it time he makes his move? Does he know that the car in front has a penalty as Dom takes P4?
P4, these guys have both got penalties. I think Kamababa will have more than Dom, because he had the saying that, Dom also got a pit lane penalty, didn't he? So it'll be very close. That could be a legitimate on-track overtake in the end of this race for 4th place.
And Jack's got a penalty behind him as well, so it's going to be very close. Owen has a huge moment on the exit of the second chicane.
Oh my goodness me! It's left Jordan right there into the first Lesmo, and wow, well, that could have been a colossal accident.
But it's going to leave Owen vulnerable on the DRS down towards Ascari. Alistair's still there behind, but Owen looks like he might just have enough left in the tank to hold the position as we come to Ascari now. Let's hope he doesn't have another moment like he just did at that second chicane as he makes it for Ascari safely. All 3 of them do. Run now down towards the Parabolica. He's worked his way back through. He's stayed out longer than the others to get the track position. It's Owen who wins the Italian Grand Prix. Alistair takes P2. Jordan down to P3. Then we got the fight for 4th. Camo Babo took it back and he takes... Well, he loses 4th because Jack had less penalties and Joe takes the lot of them.
4th. Wow.
So Jack Pearson down to 5th, Camo Babo P6, 7th for Dom, 8th for Bazza. Mr. John holds on to P9 from Neljak. We've got Red Bull Kim, Aloni 11th position here. And then we got the 2 Williams who look set to take 12th and 13th ahead of Sir Tom Penguin and Mike Noon. Red Bull Kim is a little bit wide out that last corner, lucky not to get a penalty. And then we got the 2 Williams who look like they might have overtaken each other on the last lap. But
Alistair is going to be relieved with that, isn't he? It was looking like a relatively poor race for Alistair as Alistair goes into TGP2, but in the end, I think he's actually extended his lead in the championship.
I believe he has. We did just have a late retirement for Mike Noon. I think he was over pushing, trying to get the fastest lap. He did DNF at Ascari. Driver of the day goes to F1 Bazza from low down on the grid. He's got a solid top 10 finish as we come to the podium then. And Owen walking like an Egyptian as he takes victory here at the Italian Grand Prix. Sebastian Vettel will be proud of that one. Ironically for the team he'll be racing for next year. But there we are then, the top 3 on the podium. Racing points, well, it would be Racing Points' first win since they were considered Jordan. Well, 3rd win of the season for Owen, I believe, so Owen would be delighted with that. So here are the results then from the Italian Grand Prix. It's Owen who takes it by 7 tenths a second from Alistair. Jordan, who crossed the line P2, will take P3 ahead of Joe in 4th. Jack in 5th, then it's Camo Babo and Dom in 6th and 7th. Bazza gaining 6 places from the start in P8, ahead of Mr. John in 9th, and Neljak rounding out the top 10. Red Bull Kim, a quiet race to P11, keeping it out of trouble. Then we got Angel versus Death and Indecisive Mackie 12th and 13th, and the final point going to Sir Tom Penguin, an earlier incident, but he managed to recover to take the last point. Then he had Mike, who looked like he lost it on the last lap. M. Shep, who retired, as well as Blair Grills, who went off, Ascari and Breezer, who retired early on, causing the first virtual safety car.
Well, there we go then. What a fantastic race that was. And I believe that the championship standings after that is now Alistair on 252 points. Jordan is now on 225. So Alistair has extended his lead now to 27 points at the top. Camo Babo is on 218. The win for Owen, though, well, it's brought him right back into play on 212. So fair play to Owen for that.
Yeah, and from the high-speed spectacle of Monza, we come to the slow, twisty, technical stuff of the Singapore Street Circuit. Probably the longest race in the season in terms of time, and very, very likely to have a safety car or two in, unless, of course, it's like Monza where we get 2 VSCs straight away. I am going to take your word for the championship standings because my laptop ran out of power during the race, and I've been able to get the points update at all.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain that is how the championship is at this point. Because essentially, just that penalty for Jordan, we're losing 3 points, and it's essentially that's like a 6-point swing, isn't it? In the end, from 18 points to 15 between those two swapping rounds, and well, Alistair has got away with one this time. Although we say that. Actually, it's just ultimately, I suppose, it's skill, isn't it? The fact that Alistair did not cut corners, Jordan obviously did. Jordan got the penalty, and Jordan takes the hit in terms of the championship standings, and Alistair extends his lead. Tell you what, I am really looking forward to this Singapore race.
Yeah, one of my favourites on the calendar. Sorry, always quite tricky, and the threat of rain is not always too far away here as well.
Yeah,
so
it's very possible, very possible. It's one of the best races in TGP ever for me. In a wet race in Singapore years ago, I think I pitted 6 times. If I remember rightly, and won the race. It was an absolutely crazy wet, dry race with safety cars and everything. Quite nice to have a repeat of that, yeah, wouldn't it? Be entertaining.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're going to go from probably the quickest race of the season to what will probably be the longest.
Yep, indeed it is. Quite the difference. Tale of two sides on tonight's races. So, it'd be interesting to see how the drivers adapt to the different styles of circuits. As we will now begin qualifying for the Singapore Grand Prix, round 16. Looks like a dry night in the, well, I was about to say the city. It is a city. It's also a country, of course. But we will wait and see. I think it's dry. It does look a bit grey overhead, but I'm pretty sure it's a dry circuit. This is where it turns out I'm wrong, and it's actually intermediates, but that remains to be seen.
At the pit boxes there, it almost looks like there's some raindrops, but I don't know. I assume it will probably be dry.
I can't see any rain. I can't see any rain, so I think it is dry.
There's no spray from the cars there as you begin to exit the pit lane, and there's Mercedes going out on soft, so it is definitely dry for this quali session. Still yet to see any rain at all in this season in TGP2.
Yeah, very interesting one, that indeed. Red Bull Kim first car out on the circuit, the number 70 in the Haas. He'll be the first to navigate around the circuit. Then we've got a train of cars that have just come out. Here's Jack Pearson, car number 74.
Well, I've just been talking to the local weatherman here at Singapore, John, and if there is a possibility that we could get some rain towards the end of this race, I'm hearing.
That would be very exciting indeed. The safety car will definitely help with that.
Yeah, I don't know what the Singapore weather is like here. I don't know how accurate it can be, the forecast, but it does tend to have a thunderstorm each night in Singapore, and there is a possibility towards the end of this race, and it will be the longest race of the season, it could rain towards the end. Stay tuned, folks.
This could prove to be an exciting Singapore Grand Prix. It always is in TGP. Always something going on. I remember one time we had a bit of a disagreement over the race finish, I think. That one time where,
Yes.
we sort of decided the other one should... Well, we were teammates at the time, obviously, and we sort of decided the other one should cross the line first, but less said about that.
Sorry, John, I just... Red Bull Kim looks like he's gone off on his outlap there. It's just, and he's now having to wait for a whole train of cars to get past so he can continue again, but no, I don't think he's got any damage, so no harm done ultimately. And is Sir Tom Penguin going to be the first guy to start a lap?
He will indeed.
Is it Mike Noon?
It is Sir Tom Penguin. He's on the run down to turn one now. Mike Noon is currently on an outlap. So here comes Sir Tom Penguin. Now, we don't really see the Alphas on board too often, but here we are with the Alfa Romeo driver of Sir Tom Penguin.
It's been his debut season in TGP, hasn't it? Starts off a bit shaky, but I have to say, past few races he's improved a lot. It's a fantastic crash helmet he's got as well.
Indeed it is. Obviously, when you're first on the game and you haven't really played it too often, it can be a bit daunting against guys who've probably been playing it for quite a few years. I know we both have been in TGP a long time, so for someone brand new it can take a little bit of time to get up to speed, but Tom Penguin has been closing the gap to the front runners. He's, of course, was P11 in Monza qualifying, so he's starting to make his way up the fields, and we hope it's a good race for him today, as he will be the first one to set a lap time. We do have a few cars just behind DRS on this back straight here for the Alfa Romeo, but we're on board with the Alfa as he will be the first set of time here. Obviously fastest in the second sector. I just had a little moment there with the wall. Hopefully there's no damage. It's got a bit deeper to the next corner, but we've got another car off at towards the end of sector 2. I think someone else has overshot it on the brakes.
It's Breezer, and Alistair's invalidated his lap. Alistair's invalidated his first lap then, on his first run.
Yep, so not good for the championship leader as Sir Tom Penguin sets the first time at 140.8. We've got Camo Babbo just coming towards the end of the lap now. I think Jack Pearson's just ahead, so we'll see what he does as well. He actually comes into the pits, so first time for Sir sorry, I almost just said Camo Babbo because I got Sir Tom Penguin's name just below, but it's a 136.8 current pole position. Is a current McLaren 1-2. McLaren fans want the session to start right now, I would imagine. We've got some more cars going through though. Just the Red Bull, I think that's Red Bull Kim just about to set the time. He goes P6 and Breezer takes P7. He did have an off on his lap. We've got the two Red Bulls I think about to come to line, or rather the two Alpha Tauri, sorry.
As well, yeah. Jordan on the medium tyres, as we see him do so often in the start of the quali sessions, and he goes second in his first run on the mediums.
Interestingly, he did look like he was out of ERS by the time he got to the last corner.
He was well out as he was approaching the final two corners. The left-handers where you basically have to hold on for dear life around the corner and just pray that your car can stick.
As Dom Smith goes P3 in the Mercedes, and just like Jordan, running out of ERS before the line, so there is a little bit of ERS management that's required on this lap. Someone who's done a better job of it looks to be Mike Noon as he comes around the last corner now. He goes P2 with a 136.999. Solid lap there for Mike, just a tenth and a bit off pole.
There's Owen then. He's also on the medium tyres. So he will be on a high after that fantastic win in Monza. Round to the final couple of corners, you have to ride that curve, then round these two final corners, and he's got a lot of VRS to deploy. Don't go too wide, and he goes 3/10 off Jordan, who was also on the mediums.
I think the Red Bull just behind just starting its lap, as some of the guys are coming out already for their second runs because they might have invalidated at a moment on their first runs. Jordan has gone again. I think his teammates, his teammate's just in front. We just had a car move out of the way for him. That's caused the yellow flag, but he will continue on. Jordan then coming to the last corner, and yet Mr. John in front
is invalidated.
And it's pole position for Jordan the second lap on medium tyres. That is a bit of a statement made by AlphaTauri. He'd be looking to close that gap to Alistair as he's thrown away an opportunity at Monza. Now finds himself 27 points down. So regardless of what happens here, Alistair will finish the night as championship leader.
So second run on medium tyres then, as you say, and there you go, he takes the pole. But just wondering, of course, if it is going to rain towards the end of the race, it might be worth starting the race on mediums, mightn't it, and just praying that the rain arrives at the right times and you don't have to do any early pit stop if you're on the softs.
And I think as well for Jordan, he seems to have good longevity with his tyres, it seems. And obviously with the rain coming in, if there was any early safety car or virtual safety car, cars that started on softs might come into the pits early, and that, even if he's a little bit lower down, which currently he won't be, that will allow him to jump up the order as the two McLarens go out in formation again, just like their first runs. Baz has just crossed the line in P6. We've got a couple more cars just finishing their out laps.
Baz are also on the mediums. Starting to think that Jordan and Baza have shares in the medium tyres around Pirelli medium tyres, because they always seem to go on them early on.
Here we are.
Although,
now,
to be fair, I do the same.
On board with Jack Pearson, who invalidated his first run, so he's going again, and has just immediately invalidated his second run. So we'll go to Joe, who's currently on a lap just a bit further up. Looks nice and tidy so far for the Ferrari driver. Obviously, such a long lap round here as well. You invalidate a lap, you're going to lose a chunk of time getting back, getting the tyres reset, and going back out again.
Yeah, we've got Tom Penguin going slightly off at the chicane just before the where you go underneath the grandstands. You do a little mini tunnel. That's on his out lap though, so no major issue. And well, that's an issue for the Williams. It looks like indecisive without the session.
Yep, it looks like he's got it wrong over the bridge.
He's in the middle of the bridge, and cars are having to avoid him on their laps here. Cameron Babbo just went past it. So Neljak go past it as well. They're both on out laps, so I'm not sure it's going to affect anyone on an actual lap. Thankfully, the car's now cleared, but wow, that could have caused a pretty significant moment there if we had the championship challenger on his way through.
Here's Joe then back on board, back with Joe as he crosses the line to take P5. He's really started to make some solid results recently. He got a fourth in Monza. I think he was in the top 5 last week as well, either Belgium or Hungary. So Joe starting to do a solid job as, well, I say Ferrari's rear gunner, but Mike is 1 minute at the front, next minute at the back, so he's the consistent one out of the two. No offence to Mike incredibly quick, just sometimes just oversteps it a little bit, trying a bit too hard, as we saw in Monza. Sets the fastest lap and then lost it on the final lap.
Just seeing Alistair come through here as he's about to finish off his lap. What I have not seen is the timing screens light and purple though for Alistair. This is his first lap after the invalidation earlier. Here he goes, final couple of corners, and he goes pole by 3,000.
Actually, that's a whole second. That's a whole second.
Oh, it is. Sorry, yeah, it is. Well, we weren't seeing purple on the timing screen, but you're right. I need to get my eyes checked.
That is an incredibly quick lap. That's a statement and a half by the championship leader. I was just going to have a look at one of the other guys on the lap. I think it was Camo Babo, and then you just alerted me to the Renault on his lap, and that is a blistering quick lap time.
Well, I'm going to take a wild guess here and say that he did go purple at some point, but our timing screens just did not elect to show it, because that is amazing.
If he managed to do all 3 sectors without going purple in any of them and going that much quicker, I'd be very impressed. As Camo Babo just coming under the tunnel now, the grandstand rather, towards the end of his lap. He is currently improving. It looks like he could take P2 here, but he's still going to be a significant margin behind Alistair, who's really starting to stake his claim as champion-elect, I'd say. Camo Babo P2, but nearly 2/3 of a second off. We've got Mike on a lap. That's been invalidated. So we'll have a look at Owen, who's just behind on track and currently on a lap. Blair Gwills looks to have disconnected but has rejoined, so that's good news to hear. Hopefully he can get back in and do a final run. Owen then, race winner of Monza, looking to get his second front row start of the season, and at the moment he is a second up. Obviously I think he did his first run on the mediums perhaps, so
he did, yeah, I think he did, didn't he?
That will allow a great improvement. There is quite a delta difference here, I think, between the soft and medium tyres.
Don just gone fifth, sorry.
That's a good lap for the Manxman. He'll be hoping to get a podium at some point this season. I remember when he managed to win a TGP1 race not too long ago. A bit of debris at the final corner there, but Owen takes P2, half a second off of the pole man. That would be his second. Well, he'd be waiting all season for a front race start, then to come along at once for the Racing Point driver.
Just getting over that amazing lap time. I did not realise you went a second quicker than everybody else. Amazing by Alistair. I'm just going to blame my eyesight old age.
We've got a Renault off there. I think that is Breezer. Alistair's in the pits.
And that's actually caused more debris as well on the track.
I have, of course, the old debris, as Rory would say, who's not here tonight, as Nailjack takes P7. So the 2 Racing Points at the top 8. That would be good for them. I was about to say the name of the technical director. I'm not going to even try and pronounce it because I'll butcher it and I'll have someone angrily saying about it in the comments. So I'll leave that one to the professionals.
Which technical director was it, sorry?
It's off. Oh, God. I don't want to say. I've got to get it wrong.
A Racing Point?
Off there, Offner.
Otmar.
Yeah, there we go. Like I said, leave it to a professional.
The eyesight might be terrible, but at least your memory is good.
Yeah, I just had a complete brain fade there. We're on board with Jordan though. We'll go away from talking about directors and everything. Jordan P4 on a lap. Of course, his time was on the mediums, so maybe he can challenge.
And he's gone purple. Sector 2. That definitely went purple there. It's disappeared, but he did go purple.
And if he keeps that to the line, he'd be on pole by a quarter of its 10th. So this is one to watch there with the AlphaTauri. The top 2 just pushed each other right. Jack Pearson takes pole.
Where did that come from?
I'd be I'd assume it's hammer time or something, but that is unexpected. That is a quick time from the Mercedes driver.
Here comes Jordan around the final corner. Here we go. Can he match it? He got to 34.9. Wow, look at them just loading the bar. It is amazing.
We were saying how good Alistair's lap was. All of a sudden, it's looking very ordinary. That is some astonishing times there from Jordan and Jack to take first and second as it stands with 3 minutes to go of the session. So we're very close to the end now. I don't think Jordan and Jack are going to get another lap in though. Alistair's gone back out. Owen's still in the pits. Camo Baba and Mike Noon on out laps. We're on board with Joe because he's on a lap and he's half a second up. Quite the big margin between the top 3 and everyone else. I mean, there's a 2 seconds between first and sixth, which is just really rare for TGP2.
But that is a good point you make though about Universe Death Out session. But it's a good point you make about Jordan and Jack. Probably not going to get another lap in, are they? But the other guys will. Oh, Joe's invalidated at the very end of the lap there.
And we got Dom, Mike, Camo, Babo, and Alistair all out on circuit. Jack is cruising. I wonder.
Want to destroy those tyres.
Breeze has just gone off just in front. I was just curious, is Jack possibly, and I don't think it's likely now actually, he's going a bit too quick. I was wondering, would he be going slow enough just to get to turn, is it turn 4 when you go onto the long straight? I was wondering if he's just waiting to get there to give Dom a slipstream.
I would be surprised because then you have to do another lap on those soft tyres, and
I don't see that happening.
I'd be very surprised if that happens, if he is doing that.
Camo Babo is coming to the pits, so he will not be improving. Looks
that's
like
a strange one.
Mike will be the first of the higher end of the field to set a final lap time. Jordan's retired. He feels he's done enough.
And Jack Pearson has retired and has gone back to the pit lane.
And this is
Babo retires then. It's all really down to Alistair, isn't it? Yeah, Owen as well, of course.
Alistair's just started his lap now. He's going into turn 1, but we're on board with Mike for the moment, who's just a bit further on the lap. And he's gone per 0.6 to 1 according to the timing screens. 3 temps up.
Just want to point out Bazza as well very quickly. Once again, he still hasn't actually set a lap on the soft tyres, very similar to what happened in Monza, but he's on a final run now as well to try and improve his lap time. But Mike Noon, can he steal the pole?
Bazza quite a way further ahead, so we're going to be on board with him, see what he can do. I would assume he could probably sneak top 6. I think Joe Sayers just took P7 there in the second Ferrari, so he's going to be right behind his teammate on the grid as it stands. He's just got ahead of Dom Smith there. Bazza currently P10. I think he's going to improve significantly.
Oh, McNew did the wall! Oh, he's had 10-14. He was purple sector 2 as well. He was 1.1 seconds up. So I'm not entirely sure how genuine that was, the purple, but he was going much faster anyway, and he hit the wall. I don't think he's got damage. You know what? He might get away with it. He will definitely have lost a couple of tenths.
It doesn't look like there's no noticeable damage from what I can see, but he's really pushing it. Bazza did only improve by a single position, and only just at that, but Mike takes P4. He was 1.4 up on his best, so I think it was just personal best. But anyway, let's go to Alistair, who's just behind. He's half a second up. This is going to be very close indeed. Can he do it? Yes! He takes it by a tenth. A tenth of a second. Alistair on pole again. Owen is on a lap, but it doesn't look like he's improved in Sector 1. Dom's coming towards the end of his. He's 6 temps up. He's going to be looking to take the 7th place back of Joe. I think it's a bit too big a bridge to Camo Babo in P6. Camo Babo, worth pointing out, even though he retired early, has not lost any position since then. So, actually he has, because of Mike.
He has,
because of Mike, sorry.
Here's Dom around the final corner. Is he Camo Babo going to lose another position, let's say? No, because Dom only goes 7th. But Owen is still going. He's marginally up. I think he's going to need a bit more of an improvement to get his way into this top 4.
Blair Grills has just gone, and I think he's just called off his last lap, so we just got 2 cars left. We've got Mike and we've got Sir Tom Penguin. Sorry, not Mike, Owen and Sir Tom Penguin. Owen is very close to taking P4, but doesn't quite do it. Sir Tom Penguin backs off.
Did you see that?
I did see that indeed.
Mike just left the session and he's in 4th place. I don't know if he can rejoin in time, but he may well be, as he was yesterday in TGP1, an empty grid slot at the start of this race. So Tom Penguin's pitted, so that's it then. That will be it for this qualifying section.
Jack,
what a brilliant session it was.
Yeah, at the time she just kept tumbling and tumbling. We had 3 different guys looking like they could take pole, but ultimately Alistair, yet again, I don't think he's been at the top 2 for the last 5 or 6 races, I'd have to say. He's always been up there. He's been so consistently good recently. But yep, another pole position for him, just a 10th ahead of Jordan, and half a second to Jack. Jack, definitely the surprise of the session for me. I did not expect that whatsoever from him. I think we were both stunned in the silence when that flashed up.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. But just waiting for, I think it's Jack, isn't it, who needs to retire yet, so we can get going with this race. I'm expecting a good one here. Alistair, I tell you what though, if Alistair wins now, if Alistair wins this race, he's got a 27-point lead at the minute. I remember last weekend, or last week, I said he will be, he might have one finger on the title. I think if he wins this race, he may well have a hand on it.
Yep, indeed. Very, very challenging Grand Prix up ahead for the drivers, but here we are then with the rundown. Alistair on pole, just a 10th clear of Jordan in P2, the 2 title contenders at the front again. We've got Jack at a surprise P3, very briefly was at the top. We thought he might have actually possibly taken pole. Mike in P4, hopefully he's back in time for the race. We've got Owen in 5th, Camo Babo in P6. It's just fallen away a little bit in the title battle now. We've got Dom in 7th, ahead of Joe. Bazza in P9, Blair Grills rounds up the top 10, ahead of Jack, Sir Tom Penguin. Angel vs Death, Red Bull Kim in 14th, Breezer down in 15th. Mr. John and Indecisive failing to set times.
Look forward to this race then, John. Let's see. I presume, obviously we're presuming it's going to start off dry. We are about to find out. There you go. There is indeed dry at the moment, and you can see the soft tyres there in the Mercedes garage, but will they, at some point towards the end of this race, be scrambling for the Inters or possibly even the wets?
And with how Singapore can be, it's very easy for a safety car. So I think if we get just the one safety car, the rain is a near guarantee at the end.
Yeah.
I wonder if we'll get a surprise winner. Just how Singapore can be and how tricky it is, and this possible rain, it could just throw up a bit of a surprise. But we will wait and see.
Can't rule it out.
We'll wait and see then, because we are about to get underway for round 16 of season 26 of TGP2. Lights are up. And we're racing. It looks like a good start from Alistair and Jordan. Jack looks like he's got off the line very well as well. Camo Babo already up to P4. Mike's going to be dropping down a little bit because he's obviously disconnected, but Alistair firm and away at turn 1. Looks like it's been a clean start from all, but Alistair definitely making the break early on here. He's already 7 attempts clear. We've got Jack in P3, Camo Babo in
Joe Sayers
P4.
gone into the back of Camo Babo, and it's caused carnage into the next corner, and well, he's actually just about got away with it, and there's no real actual cars out the race. It's Jack going for second place.
He's looking around the outside. He's going to try and cut in. Is he going running outside into here? That'll be brave. But he's done it. That's a superb move. And Camo Babo having a look as well down the inside into the next corner. Can he make that stick? Not quite. I think he's just going to hold on, but he coming down to the old Singapore sling. How I missed that corner. Looks like Jordan holds firm. We have got Mike back into the race. He stays P5, so he's only lost 1 spot despite not actually being there at the grid, so that's really good to see.
Joe Sayers had a brilliant start. He made a free possession, but then he went into the back of Camo Babo going into turn 4, I think it is, isn't it? Or turn 3, and it's sent him right back down the field. But at the start, look, you see Alistair's got a 1.8 second lead already, because at the start, going into turn 1, Jordan almost ran into the back of Alistair and had to hit the brakes, and it caused a bit of a logjam, and Jack then nearly went into Jordan. We got a bit of a concertina, and it allowed Alistair to pull away. We've got a nearly 2 second lead.
I can tell you who's been the real victim of that early incident, and it's Owen. He's dropped 7 places. He's down in 12. He's got heavy front wing damage. He's going to have to pit. Disaster for the race winner of the Italian Grand Prix, and Joe's in as well.
It did look like Joe rebounded back into somebody, and clearly that somebody is Owen Quimby, and here he comes limbering back into the pit lane along with Joe then. But this is a long race. This is a long race. It's not over for those guys.
No, absolutely not. Any safety car and it will just push everyone back together, and it's probably one of the easiest tracks to get a safety car on, as Mike having a look down the inside of Camo Babo into the end of sector 1, and he makes the move stick. So that's the Ferrari up into P4 ahead of an outsider for the title now, because Camo Babo has been dropping back in recent weeks. Jordan P3 just struggling to keep up with the 2 in front. Jack has been eating in a little bit to the lead that Alistair had, but not by much. The gap is 1.7. Meanwhile, Mike's got a fair bit of gap to make up on Jordan. He's got a little bit of a train behind. He's got Camo Babo, Dom and Bazza. That's your top 7. Mike just caught the wall a little bit there. I wonder if he's got damage on that Ferrari. I can't see it. I think he's got away with it. But looks like the front 4 have broken away from top 3 rather have broken away from each other in the process. So we've got a bit of a train here for 4th. Mike's got a bit deep.
Gone a bit wide as well. But yeah, so despite the fact that we are expecting rain towards the end, we did only have the one driver start on the medium tyres, which was indecisive. Joe Sayers and Owen are now both on the mediums, of course, because they've just pit. And again, Owen was getting really close to the wall there, wasn't he?
Yeah, indeed. I will say I haven't seen it, but Camo Babo is coming in already. That's an interesting one.
And I don't think he needs to change anything. I mean, obviously we've mentioned Joe Sayers running into the back of him at the start. Is he going to change the front wing? He is changing the front wing, so Carmelo does have that. He must have tapped the wall at some point, and he's putting the hards on.
That's disappointing for him. His slim total hopes are ebbing further and further away. He will come back out just ahead of Joe, I think, who's just picked up a time penalty. Meanwhile, I'm on board with Bazza because he's been stuck behind Dom since the start and just can't make a move on the Mercedes. So maybe the Mercedes running a bit less aero here. Mike has started to pull away from the two behind, but he is dropping time rapidly to Jordan. The top three are quite consistent with each other. We've got the yellow flags on the exit of turn 3.
It's Joe Sayer. It's Joe Sayer has lost it. Joe Sayer has lost it, but he's back underway again, and we do not need any sort of intervention from a safety car, be it real or virtual. Did Bazza mess up a little bit there going into turn 12?
I think he was a bit wide on exit. It did allow Annex Neljak to have a little look on the inside, but he couldn't make anything of it and has sat back behind. But the field's really just starting to space out quickly here, which is quite surprising. I thought it'd be quite close, but
we did see a big field spread, didn't we, in qualifying?
That is true.
As you say, it is surprising to see in TGP2.
Yeah, normally very, very close, but it looks like some guys have really got on top of this circuit more than others. I think Dom just had a very near miss with the ball there. This is the closest battle at the moment.
It's going to have DRS, of course, so look at Neljak right there behind him as well. Neljak, is he going to think about moving to turn 1? No, not just yet. But certainly, as you say, these are looking like the closest battlers on track at the moment. We're on lap 4. We haven't had any safety car yet.
It just looks like Dom's struggling a little bit on his tyres as Indecisive gets a penalty at the back of the field there. Bazza very sluggish into turn 4, and that's allowed Neljak to have a little look, but doesn't look like he's going to get anywhere from there. As Bazza now picks up a penalty, he ran a bit too wide there. He's got an exceeding track limits penalty, and Neljak just trying to get past Bazza, who's trying to get past Dom because they're being held up. Owen set the fastest lap of the race.
Dom was also very low on his overtake. You can see the red light flashing to alert Bazza to that. And look, oh, did Bazza nearly drop it again? There as he was going through the bridge. I think he did, and Neljak will be right there. I don't think he's got damage though, Bazza has, from that.
I think he's very lucky if he hasn't. I don't think he has, to be fair. I can't see any, but yeah, it looked like he caught the ball, and his damage dropped on the exit there. Surely this is Neljak's chance. But
his
no, he can't.
Gone. Oh, his tyre's dead because he's all over the place.
I was just about to say, I thought Dom was losing tyre performance at the start of the lap. He's starting to slide around a bit, so I'm wondering if we're going to get some pit stops soon. Let's just have a look at the front runners. None of them are coming in. They're comfortably ahead. We do have a yellow flag out. It looks like Red Bull Kim has overshot the corner again.
He's back onto the track, but it's okay because he can continue.
And Dom comes in at the end of lap 4.
So Dom comes in, then Bazza stays out.
That releases these two. We've also got Blair Grills just on the back of Angel versus Death in the fight for 7th. Does he make a move into turn 1? No, he does not.
Because of all the pit stops early on, Angel versus Death having a great race, isn't he? In 7th place at the minute.
Yeah, absolutely. Just try and see how many stops everyone's had. It's not many that have actually pitted. I mean, 3 of the guys in front of him would have done. Camo, Babbo, Owen and Sayer Sports, and obviously Dom as well, but he would have been on the outskirts of the top 10 even without the pit stops. So not a bad performance so far for Angel versus Death, who picks up a penalty as I say that, so that is a curse of the commentator.
And Dom comes out the pit lane just ahead of the likes of Camo, Babbo and Owen, who had to pit early on, and Red Bull Kim was in between those guys now after his earlier moment as Mike picks up another penalty.
And there you could just see the gap to the leader, and you can see how quickly the field is starting to spread out. Mike is 13 seconds off the lead already. If Alistair were to pit now, I think he'd only just be behind Mr. John in 9th, so that's the sort of gap he's starting to push out. Jack is doing well to keep up, I'm going to say. He's 1.4 off, so he's been consistently close to Alistair, but not close enough to gain anything, as Alistair's going into the pits, and Jack's going to follow suit. Does Jordan come in? No, he does not. He stays out for another lap. So no one really...
Jordan hasn't really been able to recover brilliantly, has he, since that moment at the start, which allowed Jack through. As Bazza comes in, as we thought he would. Neljak stays out, Mike Noon also coming in. So we'll see where Dom comes out in all of this as well. Of course, he pissed on the previous lap. Alistair is going to come back out. Will he get caught in traffic, I wonder? That might be Jordan's only hope.
A lot of cars have pitted, so I don't think Alistair's going to get caught in any traffic. Nor's Jack, they're coming out in 4th and 5th. We're on board with Dom though. Let's see where he comes up with the cars around him. I think he's going to be quite close to Mike, you know.
Yeah, he might well be. Mike Noon was a bit further ahead from those guys, but he's got a lot of penalties, and he's jumped him. He's jumped him. He doesn't need to worry about Mike Noon for the time being, because he is ahead.
That's a net P4.
Oh,
Baz has had a
right
nightmare.
Kamababo has come out ahead, but wow, Kamababo nearly dropped it. But he's just out ahead. Just out behind, sorry, I should say. But there we go. They've both got DRS down here, Baz and Kamababo. Into turn 6. Is Baz going to fancy a go? Oh, he's tapped.
He's hit the back of him.
But I don't think there's any major issues.
I don't think that would be a punch or anything to the back of the McLaren, but that is not great for Bazza. It was Bazza just coming out of the pitch just behind Camo Babbo. Camo Babbo had already pitted. But it looks like Bazza's lost a number of places. Owen's back up to P9. Dom's on the back of Indecisive Dom there in P6, so he takes P6. The gap between Jack and Alistair has opened up a little bit, but Alistair is heading towards some traffic as Jordan pits from the lead. He's got to come out
Jordan,
quite a way behind, I'd imagine.
Coming in as well, and I'm guessing Mr. John's going to have to stay out, isn't he? No, Mr. John's coming in. Well, he's going to have to queue.
So Alistair surely retake the lead here. There is a car just coming out in front, which is going to be the other Renault of Breeze, who's a lap down as of now. That's good for Alistair. He's got a 2.6 second lead. Jordan quite a way back. And yeah, very slow stop for Mr. John. It looks like a bit of front wing change too. Not good for the second AlphaTauri. He's going to be heavily held up. That's going to drop him right down the order.
It's going to be close with Neljak and Kamababo and Bazza. Yeah, Neljak's just out ahead. So Neljak, it looks like he's jumped Bazza. Then Kamababo is ahead as well. Bazza has really, this is not shaked out well for Bazza at all. Mike Noon right behind Dom for 4th into turn 6. You know, round the outside. That would be an incredible move if he manages it, and he does.
Great move for Mike there. Retakes P4 that he lost at the pits as Dom managed to get the undercut.
Oh, Kamababo with turn 6. Oh, he spun. He's hit the side of Neljak. He's in the wall. And, well, Kamababo's evening goes from bad to worse.
It looks like he's managed to reset the car and he will get going again, but it's outside the top 10 now for Camo Babbo. Indecisive's yet to pit, so he will be a net P10, but it's just really been a disappointing night for the McLaren driver. His total hopes have really fallen away, and that doesn't help either. It's a 10-second penalty for corner cutting, so he's well out of it now. As Bazza having a look at the inside of Neljak, but he's quite a way back to be having a go there. Oh, go on, Dan.
I was about to say, just approaching just now really approaching the second half of this race, and we still don't have any rain. We haven't had any virtual safety car.
But we have got Mackie in the wall, and that's caused trouble for Neljak and for Bazza. Neljak's picked up some damage. I think Bazza might have just got away with it. Indecisive went too deep into turn 18. He hit the wall under the grandstand, and Alex had nowhere to go and went into the back of him. Camo Babbo's race is just getting worse and worse. It's another penalty for the McLaren driver.
If he's not careful, Camo Babbo, his championship has totally gone tonight.
And yet,
and Bazza nearly hits the back of Neljak, and Bazza gets on the curb and they lose it, and Camo Babbo's retired in the pit lane.
He has retired in the pit, so I don't think that's going to cause any VSC or safety car. But Neljak is definitely compromised with some damage to the car, which seems to have fixed itself going by the thing. I definitely saw some on the previous lap. That's interesting. Racing Point seems to have developed some...
Bazza is all over the place again. We saw him, he made the great... I don't know, did you catch the save that he made at the start of this lap?
Yeah, I did. It very nearly went to the back of Neljak. I'm sure that Racing Point's got damage, and that's why there's such a difference between their braking zones. Bazza just... Singapore being how it is, it's very difficult to overtake. You've really got to plan the move a few corners in advance to get him down the straight, like here. I think this will be a good opportunity. DRS open, of course, down this straight, but Alex just very strong on the defence and will hold the position. Meanwhile, Owen, and this is the one I wanted to point out, as Jordan gets a 3-second penalty, but he's comfortably on his own in third. Owen, having dropped all the way down to 12th early on and pitted, has now worked his way back up to 6th and is looking likely to take P5 of Dom here. So a brilliant recovery from Owen.
Yeah, it's a really good point. Baz has just slightly cut the corner as well there. He must be getting very frustrated behind Neljak, who I'm not sure if he does have damage, you know. He's looking at the car. I didn't see the incident that happened though with Indecisive. So.
I saw the incident, and Neljak just went straight into the back of Indecisive, because Indecisive was in the barrier and it just sucked the racing point in. I could have sworn some debris came off, but maybe it was a Williams, and Alex is very lucky with it. I keep reverting between his actual name and his PlayStation name, but there we go. Owen, meanwhile, and the other racing point, just couldn't quite get to the back of Dom on the DRS, so I think that Mercedes is set up for a lot of straight line speed on a very technical circuit, so that's an interesting one. Meanwhile, your gap in the lead here between Alistair and Jack has increased to 3.3. Alistair doing very solid work since the pit stop to put away. And
if it stays like this, Alistair will be extending his lead again.
By another 10 points.
7 points, I think, at the end of this night. Although that is also dependent on fastest lap, of course.
And Owen still
Owen still can't get past Dom.
There they are then, the two very similar looking cars in terms of shape, not so much colour, but Dom has been doing well holding off this racing point now for a few laps. Owen's definitely got the pace advantage, but he just can't make the move, and it's the same further back with the other racing point, low in reverse, with Neljak doing the defensive from Bazza getting very frustrated, picking up some penalties.
There we go. Owen's going to go for it now, is he? Into
straight down the inside.
He might go a bit wide, but no, he's managed to make the corner. 5th place for Owen.
The only thing is, Dom will have DRS down the next straight, but he's a bit sideways at the exit of turn 2.
Bazza again is making some great saves here. He should replace Kevin Ariza-Balaga, because it is incredible the saves he has been making during this race.
Roman Abramovich, if you're watching this, sign him up as he now lines up for P7. Does he make the move? He backs out of it. Neljak just doing enough on the straights to stay ahead despite the ERS and DRS of the car behind. He does have a bit of ERS advantage over the car in the car behind as well, as Mike picks up another penalty, and Owen, who's now clear of Dom, will be within striking distance to take P4.
So we're seeing a lot of penalties as well, aren't we, in this race? Just having a quick look. Amazingly, Jack Pearson only has one.
Just the one penalty. I thought he was about to say the one warning, which would have really surprised me, but Alistair very comfortable then. The gap has dropped below 3 seconds, but obviously there's no penalty for Alistair in this race, and he doesn't really pick up penalties, to be fair. He does very well. Bazza still stuck behind Neljak in the fight for 7th, though despite their battling they are pulling away from the car behind Joe in P9. A lot of cars are just on their own really in this race, so it's been a rather tame Singapore Grand Prix compared to what we've seen in the past. The rain has not materialised as of yet. I don't think it will in time now. Neljak running a bit wide. Neljak just a little wide.
Long track, and yeah, you never know what could happen still. Bazza, here we go. Is this going to be his chance then for 7th place?
He lines it up, but he just runs out of ERS before the end of the straight, so he's not getting the speed advantage, even with the DRS over the racing point in front. It's very close to hitting that wall there, did well to keep that out. But Alex just doing enough in the racing point to keep P7 as his. the irony of it all is he doesn't really need to defend. If Bazza was to get through, he's got enough penalties to give the place back to the racing point at the end of the race. So Neljak should be pretty safe with P7 unless he has an accident or something, but I can't see that happening. As Bazza has a look down the back straight, but nowhere still. I can't really notice anything too much. I can see Owen is closing on Mike, and he can see the Ferrari just in front of him. Gap's down to 2 seconds. I'm wondering if Dom is being caught by the cars behind, because the gap is down to 2.4, and the gap between Dom and Owen in front is over 3 seconds now already.
Bastard again, going wide. Doesn't get a penalty for it this time round though. I do feel like despite the amounts of errors that we've sort of seen Bazza make, it's probably more from frustration than anything else. I do feel like he is, if he can get past Neljak, he would probably be able to close in on Dom, but Neljak was very wide there, nearly in the wall, but well, it's just been a case of being stuck behind this race and playing for the entire second half of this race for Bazza.
Yeah, as Joe comes into the pits, I think he might have had some damage, but he should stay in the top 14, so if he's going for fastest lap and get the points. Here we go then, Bazza finally making a move, but not being able to make it stick.
Alice comes back.
He just shuts the door firmly in Bazza's face and tells him try again next time. So positions remain as they are. Owen has caught right up to the back of Mike here in the fight for fourth, so Owen doesn't really need to make the move. Mike's got enough penalties to probably drop in behind Dom, Alex and Bazza. That's how.
Yeah, Owen does not actually have any penalties at all, and I'm pretty sure. I think Mike New's got about 3. So yeah, as you say, it's not absolutely essential.
He's going for it.
He's going to try it anyway.
Oh,
he's hit him. Well,
sometimes
I have a feeling they could be paying a visit to the stewards at the end of this race.
I was about to say discretion's the greater part of valour. There was no discretion there, that was just full on sending. It didn't quite pay off. There is damage to Mike's car, but I don't think that was caused by the incident. I think that has already happened beforehand because Mike was losing a lot of time. And interestingly, Dom, Neljak and Bazza are starting to close in. Bazza's dropped right off from Neljak actually.
And Alistair's got a penalty. Alistair gets a penalty, my word.
But
you don't see that every day, but it's not going to affect them.
Yeah, I don't think that will cause any issue for him. I just mean that him and Jack have the same amount of penalties. But that is a rarity. That is a collector's item, that one.
Yeah, if he gets another one, I think they really will explode.
And here goes Owen past Mike. Here's the fight for P4. He's going to make the move. I think Mike is the kind of guy to just keep it at the inside. There we go. It didn't really pay off.
You were spot on. And it's going to allow Dom right there now as well. Is Dom going to go for it immediately? No, he thinks better of it. But you called that perfectly, John. As then Mike goes and has an instance with the barrier as well. He's just, well, I don't know what's going on with Mike Noonan at the minute, but I have a feeling he's going to be losing quite a lot of positions on this lap. Either that or he'll just cause a massive accident.
Yeah, Mike really struggling now. I think he's got a lot of damage to the car as well, so he is a sitting duck. And look how slow he is into the corner. Look at the other two.
Look at Alex trying to go around the outside of Dom.
They're going to be free wide. I thought they were going to be free wide for a second. They might be free wide.
Still might be.
Oh, Bazza!
Oh, he's tapped into the back of Dom. Dom just avoids the wall.
Very well done there by Dom to keep that out of trouble. Mike is seriously suffering with damage now, and Alex is suddenly going to be having a look at P5 as there's more debris flying off the Ferrari. There we go. You can see how slow the Ferrari is with the damage. It's almost like watching it in real life at the moment, sadly, for Ferrari fans. As Mike is just shut the door.
Really just think, you know what? He's staying out.
Oh, he's going to stay out. He's going to stay out.
2 laps to go.
And here comes Dom on the outside of Alex in towards turn 1. Alex is going to hold it on the inside. Yes, he does. Blair Grills gets a 3-second time penalty. He's 16 seconds behind his battle, so he's not going to catch up. But we have a scrap on now for the last of the top 5 positions. Just to give you an idea, of how far up the road Owen's got. He's 7 seconds clear of the lap. Dom's going to have a look at the inside now. Can he take P6 off the racing point? Not quite. But Alex is now going to have a look for P5 off the Ferrari. Not quite. Joe takes the fastest lap for the other Ferrari. I thought that might be the plan. Dobbs having a look at the inside. That's not going to quite work. And Dobbs got round.
Oh, he's lost it. He's lost it. Oh, Dom, he will not be happy. He will be fuming with that. Well, Basil has more penalties than I'm pretty sure. So you might be
does
okay.
Mike. And here comes Alex running outside. What a move by the Racing Point driver.
Will Mike try and get him back? No, he does not.
I tell you what, I don't see many overtakes there in Formula 1. That was a brilliant move by the Racing Point driver to take P5. Dom will be fuming because P5 was practically his and Mike just parked the bus on him. And he then got swamped by others. And Mike is very slow now, and that's allowed Dom through to take P7. He will go back to P6 because of Baz's penalties. And during all this excitement, we're now on the last lap of the race. So here we are with Alistair. He's already in this middle sector.
Yeah, well, it was crazy stuff there from Mike Newman, but at least it gave us a bit of drama, I suppose. He's totally lost the front wing down, Mike Newman. It's just total disaster for Ferrari, and Bonotto will be sitting on that pit wall. He will be shaking his head.
He's very nearly got into the wall at the last corner.
And he'll be saying this is not part of the master plan.
The only thing missing...
who has got the master plan today is Alistair.
Absolutely, a perfect race from the young Scotsman, and he's just put in. Well, he said last week he had one finger on a title. I think it might be 3 fingers on that title now, as he is just a few corners away from victory here in Singapore. He does have a lapped car in front. That's not going to cause any issue for him. Dom gets another penalty. That's not good for him if he's trying to get Bazza. It's indecisive in front, but obviously ghosting, so he will not cause an issue for the Renault driver. As he rounds the final corner for the 15th time, it's another win for the Renault of Alistair, and he actually spins it across as he crosses the line. That's not part of the Renault master plan. Jack takes second. Jordan will take P3 and goes into the...
Oh, wow.
He goes into the AI goes into the Renault, and Mike is out of the race.
Mike's out. Well, we got fireworks over above us.
He's got into the wall. He's got into the wall.
Fireworks as Alistair across the line above us, but also on the track as well, with spinning across the line there. Look at this. He's 30 seconds back as Owen in 4th place here.
Just a crazy race towards the end there. There's Owen takes P4. Now Jack will follow his teammate home in P5. A great result for Racing Point then. P6 for Bazza. And Blair Grills is out as well.
End, just a few corners from the finish.
The Singapore,
the wall under the grandstand. Oh wow, we'll be gutted with that.
P6 for Dom, P7 for Bazza. Angel versus Steph. We said he was doing well early on in P7. He's actually going to finish P8. So great job for him. That's a very well earned result for the Williams driver. Joe, despite pitting twice for damage, will take P9 and I believe the fastest lap. Yes, he does. Yep. Then he got Indecisive, who realised was right in front of Alistair as Alistair crossed the line, so he wasn't lapped, and will gain 2 places on the final lap as a result and take a top 10.
That's a... Wow, yeah. Fair play there to Indecisive. He could have just backed off and let Alistair through, but well, it's worked out very well for him in the end. Oh, he's nearly loses it at the end there, but here he goes to cross the line. As you say, he will gain the extra 2 positions, which he would not have got if he just let Alistair through.
What a hectic race that turned out to be at the end. Driver of the day as well, Indecisive. Well done to him for that one. As we have the podium celebrations now, and another race victory for the Scotsman in the Renault. Well, that was quite the race in the end. A brilliant battle for P5 between Mike, Alex, Dom and Bazza. But up ahead, clear of the field and comfortable is Alistair. Jack taking P2 and Jordan running off the podium. Another huge chunk gained up the top for Alistair at the top of the standings. So here's the race results then, and Dan, I'll let you have the rundown on this one.
Yeah, so Alistair does take the victory then. He extends his championship lead now to 37 points with 6 races to go. Jack is in second. It's a great second place for Jack on the podium. Jordan in third, with a very quiet race in the end. In the after that first lap, Owen finishes in fourth, despite the fact he had to pit at the very start after getting caught up in that instance. Now Jack is fifth, Dom comes home in sixth, Baz is seventh, Angel with Death an excellent eighth, Jose in ninth and gets the fastest lap. Indecisive, a very wonderful 10th place for him. Blake is 11th, Mike Noon 12th, Mr. John 13th, Rebel Kim 14th, Titson Peng with 15th, Breeze 16th, and Camo Babo, who we sure have a load of instants in the first half of that race, and in the end he will score no points from Singapore, and as a result of that, John, it has actually dropped him down to fourth in the championship. Now he's on 218 points. Owen is into third now on 224. Then we've got Jordan on 240, and Alistair, as we say, 37 points clear on 277.
Yep, a big night then, and the title initiative has really been taken there by the Scotsman Alistair Bain. We will be back next week for more races, I believe. I'm not going to remember off the top of my head.
Russia next week.
Japan and Russia.
Japan and Russia next week. Russia and Japan, actually, I should say. It's the other way around. But I don't think... Alistair certainly can't clinch it next week, but he can get very, very close. A hand and four fingers possibly on the title. But all it takes is one DNF, one spin, one crazy error in qualifying start at the back. That's all it takes for Jordan to get right back in there. And also, as we've seen tonight, if Owen can continue his good form, then he could be right there as well.
Yep, absolutely. That brings us to the end of tonight's races then. So from myself and Dan, thank you for watching, and come again same time next week for more TGP2 action.